fought the rest, now try the best!
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to give you guys a little bit of a news update on everything that is going to happen and everything that has happened, which kind of is a lot in both categories. First off, we'll talk about Marvel Tournaments. The beta has just concluded. Some people were kind of upset because of all the issues that was going on. Some people were upset just generally because they don't like the game, and that's fair either way. You know, there's so many great fighting games out there, and there's one for everyone. Just find the one that fits you and then just start gaming. It does look like the game is going to have some legs when it releases on August 6th because there was a lot of people playing it. When you look at the Steam, the peak of it is higher than Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. Marvel Tournaments had an all-time peak of 33,000. Street Fighter 6 had an all-time peak of 32,000, and then Tekken 8 had an all-time peak of 15,000. Now these are exclusively for the betas and not necessarily for the full releases of the game. When the game releases, we can look at how it's stacking up against Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8, because as we know, a lot has changed since both of those games betas, and they went on like wildly different trajectories. As for the user data, we can see which characters are being played at which ranks. Not all of them, but we do have a couple. Here's Vibranium Plus. You can see that Blade and Magic are the most played characters in the game, which is pretty interesting because these characters don't have movies in the modern day. Their most recent Blade movie that was being planned got canceled, and then some of his older movies go all the way back to like the early 2000s. And then as for Magic, I think she appeared in some stuff, like maybe a TV show or a movie here and there, but really these characters are just being kept alive through the passion of the players. So to see them at the top of the list, it's surprising, but also it shows how much untapped potential that is there with those characters. Same thing for Magneto being right behind Iron Man. When you look at the next screenshot, you can see now this is for the leader, right? Which character is leading your team? You can see it's Magic, Black Panther, Blade, Doctor Dooms, and Spider-Man. The funny thing about Black Panther is that there was a little bit of a conversation when the character was first announced about it not being T'Challa and it being, I believe the character name is Siri. Basically, it's the female Black Panther and not the male Black Panther. A lot of people were upset by that, but you can see that it's not hurting the character, as currently in the beta, they were the second most used as a leader. And then for the assists, you have Iron Man, Magneto, Blade, Magic, and then Panther. So some familiar faces there at the top. At the bottom, you have Danger and Star-Lord. These characters being unpopular. For Danger, it makes sense. Star-Lord, it doesn't make sense when you think about the 3 movies that he has, but maybe people don't really care about the Guardians of the Galaxy anymore. Who knows? Now, before I move on, if you guys are new to the channel, please hit subscribe. For everyone else, like the video and also turn on notifications. There was also this really big thing that happened with PlayStation where players are trying to fight back against their decision to go all digital. They're calling for a global PlayStation blackout on August 23rd to the 30th. This is basically where you don't play PlayStation to send them a message that you don't stand with their all digital change. We'll see how many people participate, and we'll see if this can impact Sony and make them change their mind, but currently they're standing firm on that decision. Now, when we talk about what's coming next, you got to talk about the EWC, which currently at the time of recording this video, it's 1 day away for Street Fighter 6. And then 7 days away, you have the release of the first character of Year 4, which is Yasmin. This character is going to be the face of Year 4, so she's definitely an important character, and alongside her is balance changes. Before I read what the developers said about the balance changes, I want to read to you what Punk said about the game itself. Punk says Street Fighter 6 encourages bad play by having drive rush into throw loops. The quote says, "This game sucks. It's not even the player's fault. That's the bad thing. Until they fix the game and how it works, it's always going to be like this. It's just a bad game. Throw loops and drive rush together makes the game so trash. Gotta take one of them out. 10 years of this is scary. Let me feel like I got interactions to be made." Now, he clarified on Twitter and says, "Not sure why everyone wants to use it to cope with why they're bad at the game. Personally, I like Street Fighter 6. Of course, there's some dumb stuff that gets me salty. Just because I say something in a video after playing in a tournament doesn't mean it's true, or I believe it. 99% of the people on Twitter just parrot top players, but in reality, y'all can't win with throw loops, drive rush, V system. It doesn't matter. So 90% of you stop trying to find something to help you cope because you're trash." This one instance just shows you how intense the conversation of balance is surrounding Street Fighter 6. So it's important that the next update that they do is a good one, because they don't do that much, right? They just do some here and there. You get probably like 4 a year. So this is going to be a big one. The developer said, now this is with the Yasmin update that they're planning. With Yasmin update comes overall balance adjustments that will affect select all characters marking the start of year 4. Keep an eye out for the battle changes list before maintenance starts. Now after that, you have Tekken 8 EWC, which at the time of recording is 9 days away. You also have a $1 million prize pool, and then you also have the LCQ the day before the finals, because 4 more people need to be selected to participate in said finals. So that's going to be a major tournament that a lot of people are interested in, especially with the inclusion of players like Sin, Ulsan, and also Ninja Killer. A little bit after that, you have the big tournament CEO. This is going to be an exciting one because there's going to be so many people traveling there. If you pop into people's streams and you ask them whether or not they're going, so many people are saying yes, and so many people also have sub goals to make it there. So if you have a favorite streamer or a player, be sure to give them a little something to make their journey a little bit easier. Now, a little bit after that, you have the release of Bob. This is for Tekken 8, and alongside him, you also get a battle pass and a balance update, which we don't know too much about, but the developers have hinted that they are making that. So that's 23 days away at the time of recording. What the developers said in their dev update about it is this: our development team reviews submissions on a daily basis to determine priorities for bug fixes and balance adjustments. In particular, we are currently prioritizing feedback submitted under balance related bugs and issues, especially reports regarding unintended behaviors and character move performances. So this part is important because the developers haven't told us too much about what they plan to do. The last thing we heard, and this was quite some time ago, but still the last thing we heard, is that Nakatsu is leaving. Ever since then, the developers have been absolutely silent. They haven't told us, they haven't told us who's in charge. They said they're not going to, which fair enough. Okay, we respect that decision, even though we don't agree with it. But then they also haven't told us when they're making the next update. Now, we know that prior they've been doing it kind of with the release of each character. And it seems like some of those trends that started in season 2 and season 1 are carrying and maintaining. So we could expect something at least with Bob. If they delivered nothing after all of this time, I think players would be disappointed. So some type of nerfs and some type of adjustments will be much appreciated. I know that players are still debating whether or not Kunimitsu is top 5. Some people were super certain that she was. Some people were even saying top 1. But as we see with the time progressing that she's not really doing anything in tournaments. On the movie front, I do want to highlight that the Mortal Kombat movie is now streaming on HBO. So if any of you guys didn't get to see it when it was in theaters, please go support it online. So that way in the future, maybe we could get more movies made, because I understand that the movie didn't do the best at the box office, and that's an important thing for investors and future of the franchise. Now, as for the Street Fighter 6 movie, that one is 81 days away, way in October, so we have some time. They have released some official images and trailers and things of that sort that you guys could check out online. But lastly, I want to talk about a project that's being created in the world of Tekken. Ren Coding is the person who's kind of leading the charge here, but it says, here's the real deal Tekken 5 DR rollback, UK versus Poland, ping 60, input frame delay 1. The video was 270 ping test to show you the performance and visible rollback frames. Basically, this person is doing the hard work of making a lot of older Tekken games playable. Bandai Namco still haven't given that option to the players. So there's many different types of paths and routes you can go to play these old games. If you guys are on Twitter, definitely get in contact with this person, because this person is posting a lot about it. Here's another video where you can see bros kind of breaking down some of the things that Harada said in the past, and then giving in like a solution basically, and showing that it's possible. And lastly, what they just sent me was Tekken 6 on rollback. I'm looking at the actual download file here. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and bye-bye.